Ladies and gentlemen, the First Lady of Country Music, Loretta Lynn.
Go buy a covered clothesline, go buy a pots and pans. I'm gonna take a Greyhound bus as further as I can. Ain't gonna wash no windows, ain't gonna scrub no floors. When you realize I'm gonna hear you roar. And you'll say, hey, Loretta, I love you more than I already said. Hey, Loretta, don't leave me alone. Hey, Loretta, where am I gonna treat you better? Now you brand new overall, you only come back home. I work my fingers to the bone, we don't hardly speak. All I ever get is a little kiss about once a week. You can feed the chickens, you can milk the cow. This woman's liberation, and it's gonna start right now. You'll say, hey, Loretta, I love you more than I already said. Hey, Loretta, don't leave me alone. Hey, Loretta, where am I gonna treat you better? Like a brand new overall, you only come back home. I'll dress up like a movie star, pretty up my hair. No one here is gonna know what I'll be doing there. I'll be swinging from the chandelier, bouncing off the wall. Instead of loving just one man, I'm going to love them all. And you'll say, hey, Loretta, I love you more than I already said. Hey, Loretta, don't leave me alone. Hey, Loretta, where am I gonna treat you better? Like a brand new overall, you only come back home. Everybody, and welcome to the show tonight. And we would ask you to holler out whatever you wanted to hear. Honey, I said I would ask you, but it wouldn't do any good for me to ask you because the little conductor back here don't know my songs. He only knows 3, and he said, Loretta, if you sing any more than that, you've had it. So see, I won't be able to sing what you holler out. But when it's all over with, come up here and I'll sing it from right over here at the side of the stage. And this little girl would walk a country mile to find her a good old slow-talking country boy. I said, a country boy, I'm about as old-fashioned as I can be. So I hope you like what you see. If you're looking at me, you're looking at country. You don't see no city when you look at me, 'cause the country is all I am. I love running barefooted through the old cornfields, and I love that country house. Well, you say I'm a man just to fit your plans, but does a barnyard shovel fit your hands? If your eyes are on me, you're looking at country. Oh, Bobby. Well, and this your country is a little green, but there's a whole lot of country that you ain't seen. I'll show you around if you show me a wedding band. I said a wedding band. When it comes to love, well, I know about that. Country folks all know where it's at. If you're looking at me, you're looking at country. You don't see no city when you look at me, 'cause the country is all I am. I love running barefooted through the old cornfields, and I love that country house. Well, you say I'm a man just to fit your plans, but does a barnyard shovel fit your hands? If your Thank you very much. Right now I'd like to sing a song that I wrote, and I'd like to tell you a little story about this song before I go into it. I was working in St. Louis, Missouri, and before the show started, this young girl, about 20, 21 years old, come backstage, and she says, Loretta, she was crying, and she says, Loretta, my husband has been stepping out on me. And she says, I tried to get my husband to bring me to this show today, and he wouldn't bring me. And said he's sitting out there in the third row with his girlfriend. Well, I kind of looked down at this little girl, and she didn't wear no makeup, and she was not fat. She was just kind of pleasingly plump. Really not, what do you call it? Just not fat. Let's just put it that way. And I looked at the girl that was sitting out there with her husband, and she really looked cheap. She had a lot of makeup on her face, and I thought, well, my goodness, how could he do a thing like this? So I looked down at the little girl and I said, honey, she ain't woman enough to take your man. I went to my dressing room and I wrote it right there. You're come to tell me something. You say I ought to know that he don't love me anymore, and I'll have to let him go. You say you're gonna take him, oh, but I don't think you can. Oh, you ain't woman enough to take my man. Oh, women like you, that dime a dozen you can find anywhere. For you to get to him, I'd have to move over, man. I'm gonna stand right here. It'll be over my dead body, so get out while you can. Oh, you ain't woman enough to take my man. I'll pick it out, girl, Dave. Everybody have a good time. Sometimes a man's caught looking at things that he don't need. He took a second look at you, but he's in love with me. Well, I don't know where that leads you, but I know where I stand. And you ain't woman enough to take my man. A woman like you, that dime a dozen you can find anywhere. For you to get to him, I'd have to move over, and I'm gonna stand right here. It'll be over my dead body, so get out while you can. Oh, but you ain't woman enough to take my man. No, you ain't woman enough to take my man. I usually have a song for every story. I'll tell you, a story for every song. That's the way I should put it, right? When I first went to Nashville, no, there ain't one on the way. I just gained 5 pounds. You cool it back there. That don't beat anything I ever seen. You didn't have to bring that up. When I first went to Nashville, Tennessee, the first girl singer I met was Patsy Cline, and we become the best of friends. In '63, Patsy was killed in an airplane crash. I never sang any of her songs after that, and when somebody from the audience would holler out a Patsy Cline number, it would mess up my whole show. Well, last year I went in the recording studio, and I did an album of Patsy's greatest hits. And I like to never got this thing cut. And I still have a hard time singing them, but I'm going to sing them for you anyway. I fall to pieces each time I see you again. I pretend we've never met. And I've tried, Lord, I've tried, but I haven't yet. You walk by and I fall to pieces. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. I stopped to see a weeping willow crying on his pillow. Baby, he's crying for me. And as the stars come gloomy, the night winds whisper to me, I'm lonesome as I can be. I go out walking after midnight, out in the moonlight, just like we used to do. I'm always walking after midnight, searching for you. Crazy, crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'll leave me for somebody new. Why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in this world did I do? Crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. For loving you, crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying and crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving you. Headed for the train, feeling nearly faded as my jeans. Bobby thumbed the diesel down just before it rained, took us all the way to New Orleans. I took my old harp out of my dirty red bandana and was going sad while Bobby sang the blues. Well, them windshield wipers stopped the time, I was holding Bobby's hand in mine. We sang every song that driver knew. Nothing left to lose, nothing ain't worth nothing but it's free. Feeling good was easy, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues. Feeling good was good enough for me, good enough for me and Bobby McGee. La 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 la, me and Bobby McGee. La 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 la. my soul. Standing right beside me, Lord, through everything I've done. Every night he kept me from the cold. Then somewhere in Salinas, Lord, I let him slip away, searching for a home I hope to find. I trade all my tomorrows for a single yesterday, holding Bobby's body close to mine. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. Nothing ain't worth nothing but it's free. And good Lord, Lord, when Bobby sang the blues, feeling good was good enough for me. Good enough for me and Bobby McGee. La 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 la.
Bobby McGee.
La 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 me and Bobby McGee.
Bobby McGee.
La 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 la.
Bobby McGee.
La 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 me and Bobby McGee. I promised you all some fiddling, didn't I? Let her go, boy. Every time I close my eyes, so I'm going out now and I'm looking for you somewhere tonight. I want you out of my bed, back to my bed before the morning sun comes up. I can't stand another night without you holding me tight. How I miss your love untouched, going to searching everywhere that you might be. When I find you, I'm bringing you home with me. I want you out of my head and back shovel coal to make a poor man's dollar. How many of you in here tonight know what a holler is? Oh, you do know what a holler is, huh? Great. How many more know what a holler is? You know what one is? I'm going to tell you what a holler is. Holler's a little canyon that comes down between two hills. Down between these two hills is a little stream of water. On the sides of the hills is where we build our cabins. And if there's any level ground, that's where we put our gardens. And the way Butcher Holler got its name is like this. My grandmother was a butcher. My grandfather was a web. And friends, there just so happened to be a lot more butchers than there were webs. And the butchers won out. And that's how it got its name. Butcher Holler. Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter in a cabin on a hill in Butcher Holler. We were poor, but we had love. That's the one thing that Daddy made sure of. He shoveled coal to make a poor man's dollar. My daddy worked all night in the band of coal miners, all day long in the field of hoeing corn. Mommy rocked the babies at night and read the Bible by the coal oil light. Everything would start all over come break of morn. Daddy loved and raised their kids on a miner's pay. Mommy scrubbed our clothes on a washboard every day. Well, I've seen her fingers bleed to complain there was no need. She'd smile in Mommy's understanding way. In the summertime we didn't have shoes to wear, but in the wintertime we'd all get a brand new pair. From a mail order catalog, money made from selling a hog. Daddy always managed to get the money somewhere. Yeah, I'm proud to be a coal miner's daughter. I remember well the well where I drew water. The work we done was hard, and I would sleep 'cause we were taught. I never thought of ever leaving Butcher Holler. Well, a lot of things have changed since way back then, and it's so good to be back home again. Not much left but the floors. Nothing lives here anymore except for memories of a coal miner's daughter. I know every one of you out there tonight feel the same way about your daddy as I did about my daddy. My daddy died in '59. I didn't start singing till '61, so Daddy never did get to hear his coal miner's daughter sing on stage. I know all of you have a lot of memories of your daddy. I got a lot of memories of my daddy too, and I'd like to share just a couple of my memories with you if you don't mind. I'd like to share the one memory that I remember the most and I love the most. Is a memory of in the wintertime when the snow was on the ground. The wind was blowing the snow through the cracks of the house. Daddy had sat in front of the old fireplace and he'd rock 2 and 3 kids at one time. And most of the time, I was one of them kids. In fact, Daddy rocked me right up till I got married. I married very young. I kind of walked out of my daddy's arms into my husband's arms. Then there were times that were quite funny. Memories that I remember of Daddy, and I think one of the funniest ones was Daddy never called me Loretta, it was always Loretty. And I was the only girl till I was 9 years old. I was kind of spoiled. I was Daddy's pet. I got into everything I was big enough to get into. I climbed trees, I jumped fences. Daddy would always say to me, now Loretty, if you climb that tree and you fall out and get hurt, you're gonna get whooped. Just as sure as I climbed a tree and I fell out and got hurt, Daddy'd pick me up and spank me before he'd ever look to see if I was dead or alive. They just don't make them like her daddies anymore, do they? There just ain't no way. I was a much more than a baby. I thought he was a bear. When my daddy carried me around, they said I learned to walk while holding on to just one finger on the hand of a man that stands 6'3". Not old enough to understand the meaning of depression, just like the people talk about a lot. My daddy was the one to try to make no big impression, just one heck of a man that worked for what he got. They don't make me like my daddy anymore. Guess they throw away the pattern through the years. And they got a big land of freedom at a time we really need them. They don't make me like my daddy anymore. From the Johnson County coal case through the hills of West Virginia, my daddy worked down in them dark coal mines. Education didn't count so much as what you had born in you, like the will to live and a dream of better times. Daddy never took a handout with pinto beans and bacon, but he worked to keep the wolf back from the door. And he'd only prove one thing to me when folks start belly aching: they don't make them like my daddy anymore. They don't make me like my daddy anymore. Guess they throw away the pattern through the years. And he got a big land of freedom at a time we really need them. They don't make them like my daddy anymore. They don't make them like my daddy anymore. I know you're sitting out there right now saying to yourself, how in the world did she ever get out of Butcher Holler? Am I right? That's what I thought. This is how I got out of Butcher Holler. I went to school in a little one-room schoolhouse. Right in the middle of the schoolroom sat a great big old iron pot-belly stove. And during the summertime, some of the kids was playing in the schoolhouse yard, and they had broke out some of the window panes, and it was really getting cold. The teacher says, girls, we're gonna have to come up with something to raise some money to put these window panes back in the schoolhouse. Well, we come up with a pie supper. How many of you have ever been to a pie supper? All right. How many of you don't know what a pie supper is? Well, I'm fixing to tell you. She says, now girls, all of you that are big enough, you bake your own pie. And whoever the boy is that buys your pie can help you eat this pie and walk you home. Right then, I started getting ready for the big pie supper. We had our pie supper 1 week later. The young fellow that she got the bit off the pies I'd never met. He'd just gotten out of the army. He looked like a little toy soldier. Looked to be about 16 or 17, but of course we know he had to be much older than that. He bid the pies off that night, and when it come to my pie, he bought it. After the pie supper was over with, we sat down to eat our pie. I'd made a bad mistake. I'd baked my pie with salt instead of sugar. 13 years old, my first pie, and I'd baked on that thing for a week. Well, he walked me home. That was on the 10th day of December. On the 25th day of December, he bought me a little rubber doll for Christmas. On the 10th day of January, we got married. We moved all the way out of Butcher Holler, clear out to the state of Washington. The next year for Christmas, I got a real doll. And the next year for Christmas, I got another. And the next year, another one. And the next year, by the time I was 17, I had 4. And then they started coming in pairs. And there's been one on the way ever since. To France, and Jackie's seen in a discotheque doing a brand new dance, and the White House social season she'll be But here in Edmonton, the rain is a-falling, the faucet is a-dripping, and the kids are bawling. One of them is toddling and one is a-crawling, and one's on the way. I'm glad the Raquel Welch just signed $1 million pact, and Debbie's here working up a brand new act, and the TV's showing newlyweds a real fun game to play. But here in Topeka, the screen doors are banging, the coffee's boiling over and the wash needs a hanging. One wants a cookie and one wants a changing, and one's on the way. Now what was I doing? Jimmy, get away from that door, and there goes the phone. Hello, honey. What's that you say? You're bringing up your army buddies home? You're calling from a bar? Get away from that. No, not you, honey. I was talking to the baby. Wait a minute, honey, the doorbell. Honey, could you stop at the market and... Hello. Hello. Well, I'll be. The girls in New York City, they all march for women's lib. Better homes and gardens shows a modern way to live. The pill may change your world tomorrow, but meanwhile, today, here in Edmonton, the flies are buzzing, the dog is a-barking, and the floor needs a scrubbing. One needs a spanking, and one needs a hugging, Lord. One's on the way. You and me, and I me, when I was your girl. Promised if I'd be your wife, you'd show me the world. All I've seen of this old world is a bed and a doctor bill. I'm tying down your brooder house, 'cause now I've got the pill. This old maternity dress I've got, no one in the garden. All I'm wearing from now on won't take up so much yardage. Mini skirts are pink and a few little fancy frills. Yeah, I'm making up for all those years since I've got the pill. Oh, but Daddy, don't you worry now, 'cause Mama's got the pill. One evening, my husband come home from work and he said, Loretta, I've been listening to the radio, and there's girl singers that's out there singing on the radio that's making money that can't sing any better than you can. I said, I think I'm going to try to do something with your singing. Well, I really didn't know what he had in mind, 'cause he'd never heard me sing, except walking in the house and catching me rocking the babies to sleep. He said, there's a little country band that plays not too far from here on Saturday night. Said they play for a little country dance. Says Saturday night we'll go listen to them. Tickle me to death, 'cause with 4 kids you don't get to go nowhere. Saturday night come along and he got me a babysitter. My first big night out. My first big dance. We got to the dance hall and it got just a little too much to drink. Got a little bit loud. Went up to the bandstand and hollered, hey, next to Kitty Wells, I've got one of the greatest country girl singers here in the world. And said, I want you to let her get up and sing. Friends, I took off running. I heard one of the guys in the band say, we don't let nobody get up and sing here. Well, as the night went on, it got a little worse, and a little worse, and a little worse. Aggravated every one of them to death. Finally, one of them looked down at him and said, now listen, if this girl can sing as good as you say she can, you bring her over Wednesday night. So we tape a half-hour country music show, and we play it back on the radio on Saturday. Said, well, we'll put her right on the radio. They figured it'd forget it. Lord, I was hoping so. He didn't. Wednesday night come along when he come in from work and looked at me and said, are you ready? And I said, no. He said, get that way. And I did. We went over to the musician's home and they come to the door. We knocked on the door and they come to the door and looked down at us and looked like they said to themselves, gee, what have we got ourselves into? Well, one of them looked at me and said, what do you want to sing? I only knew one song all the way through. And I said, there he goes. He says, what key do you do that in? And I said, I don't know. He hit a key and I hung on. The next morning, they come over at my house and they hired me to sing with them every Saturday night for $5. I knew I was going to get rich. I saved all my money up and I bought me a white hat, white boots, a black skirt with big long white fringe, a black shirt with big old red roses. Annie Oakley would have been ashamed to have stood up beside of me. I strapped my guitar around my neck and I headed for Nashville, Tennessee. I'm sure if my husband would have ever dreamed the music business would have taken us away from each other so much, so long at a time, he'd have never asked me to sing that first song. I know you read articles every now and then where he gets out, gets a little too much to drink, but he gets lonely. He stays home and does all the farming, takes care of all the kids' problems, or tries to, and if you've got kids, you know that's impossible. There ain't no way. So when he gets lonesome, he gets drunk. And he gets lonesome every night. So one day I wrote him a song. Called him up about 3 o'clock in the morning and I said, honey, I wrote you a song. Which I made a mistake by calling him up at that time of night. He said, well, what is it? And I said, don't come home with drinking with loving on your mind. That's what it is. It's off